Greetings to all melanated people all around the world. It's really a joy, it's really a blessing reaching out to you, being out here in nature. And it's a very bright, sunshiny day after it's been raining for most of the week. And here I'm sitting under a soursop tree, and we know that the soursop juice is good. Down to the leaf of the soursop is good, and it is said in the scientific researches and so on that the soursop fight against cancer cell. Okay, and here I am exposing and destroying all the cancer cells that is out there to keep you limited when you are limitless beings. So with that being said, my brother and my sisters, I want to speak to you concerning the scripture that says, unless a corn of wheat falls in the ground and dies, it abides alone. But if it dies, it brings forth much fruit. And death is inevitable. You must die. And you cannot die unless you live. So basically, you live to die. Okay, because unless you ever live, you just can't die. You have to live to die. Okay, so when I speak of death here, I want to speak concerning this death where you must die to yourself, you must die to your ego, and you must die to the things that were taught to you that you believe was true when you come to your true enlightenment. But before I do that, I just want to show you a simple principle in the world of agriculture, because most people see agriculture as when you go out in the field and plant a seed, but they miss it psychologically and spiritually. Okay, because your thoughts is basically what is creating your reality. That's why it is said, by your fruit you shall be known. And before a fruit or a tree can bring forth in abundance, the germ of life must be in that seed. And so there have been millions of sperms that have been ejaculated from the man into the woman, and that particular sperm that receive the cosmic light is what becomes you and me. So basically you're one in a million. Okay, so there's a process, and the process is, unless a corn of wheat fall in the ground and die, it abides alone. You understand? But if it die, it brings forth much fruit. It must have the germ of life in it in the very first place, and you must have that light in the very first place. Okay, so when you sow the seed goes through the death, burial, and resurrection. It goes through the process of death, burial, and resurrection, and then it brings abundance to feed and to nourish and to bring happiness and to bring peace and to bring everything that is good. But it also needs the sunlight, and it needs the pure water to make it happen. And most of our bodies is water, just like the earth, and we need the sunlight, because without the sun there is no life, and we are the people of the sun. That's the reason why we have to eat very close to nature also. So, as I was saying, unless a corn of wheat fall in the ground and dies, it abides alone. But if it dies, it brings forth much fruit. Therefore, we must have the experience of the death, burial, and resurrection. And this has been taught in St. John chapter 3 by one who's been enlightened. So when you speak about Christ and Nicodemus, it is teaching you of the enlightened one who is correcting the religious system. And the religious system is symbolized by Nicodemus, and is showing the born again experience, showing the corn of wheat must fall in the ground and dies before it could bring forth, and showing you must come through the new birth, and it is basically a death also, and a burial and a resurrection where you come into new life, and teaches you this in the sun. The sun rises and the sun sets and the sun rises again. It's all death, burial, and resurrection. And it is said in the scriptures, no man take my life, I lay down, I take it back up. That's why I did a video called Every Death is a Suicide. And so, my brother, my sisters, all of the temporal things of this life that you were taught to believe in and put your trust in, and all the things that you have hold to define yourself, to make you think that you are important, and the things that you was looking towards or holding to complete you. Not until you die to those things that you're gonna bring forth much fruit. Fruit that will uplift society. Fruit that will leave a legacy. So, my brother and my sisters, you have to die to all your religious concepts and beliefs, and all the forms and rituals. You have to die to all the false identity. That's why sometimes I try to show the Rastafarians this false identity they're holding to. They just get angry with me. No, none of us born into this world, being a Baptist or Methodist or Anglican or Rastafarian or a Muslim or Hindu. So we have to get rid of all the false identity. But it takes one who've gone through the process of the death, burial, and resurrection. It takes a seed that falls in the ground and dies, and doesn't abide it alone again. That's why when you read in the scripture about Elohim, it is teaching you out of one came many. Every tree upon the face of this earth is teaching you out of one comes many. You take one seed and you plant that one seed, and you go through the death, burial, and resurrection, and you bring forth many after its own kind. That is why you can't teach based on intellect. You have to come into experience. And when you come into experience and you tell the story, which is basically your biography, you're showing forth your true identity, and you're not holding to false identity. And those who will resonate with you on that same frequency, they also will come into their true identity. That's what it means when it says, my sheep hear my voice. It says, my sheep know me and I know them, and a stranger they wouldn't listen to. That's why I tell you that there's the good shepherd and there are the hirelings. And that there are sheep and there are wolves in sheep clothing who want to deceive you. So my brother and my sisters, with me saying all this to you, I want to say this. If I did not have the experience where I awake within myself, literally awake within myself, holding on the wind, and when I wake within myself, I ascended like a fiery being in a serpentine manner, in a manner like this, and exit my skull in another form, and became invisible, and come to understand the mystery behind St. John chapter 3, the mystery behind John and Jesus, the mystery behind Mary and Elizabeth. I'll do videos on those sometime. Understand these things. I would not have presented myself before you as a teacher, as a mystic, if I did not come to my mystical self. And my brother and my sisters, when I was 17 years of age, I was given the coat of many colors and found it to be the rainbow. That's how I know what the true meaning of the coat of many colors was given to Joseph. And Joseph is just your higher self, your Christ self. Whether you want to say Joseph or Joseph, or you want to say no J, did exist in the Hebrew alphabet, I want to say to you, the Hebrew language was not a language that you explore with the breath. It has always been a language of symbology, a mystical language. So you have to come into discovering your mystical self, while you become the living book, revealing the written book. Okay? So, my brother and my sisters, there must be death. Okay? And we cannot escape death. And if you're going to accept enlightenment, and you're going to accept your higher self, you come to realize it is a death. And when you come into it, you will no longer have fear of death, because you will understand that you are an eternal being and you having a human experience, and then you will go beyond the humanistic realm, because it's only when I had that experience I realize exactly who I am, and I do not have to fear anything. And I've come to realize that consciousness is the only reality, and I come to understand that this consciousness in me is not gonna die. It's not gonna die. It was shown to me. I can go on and show you other stuff, but time will not permit me right now. Okay? But as time go by, and I get to tell you more about myself, and you get to know more about my biography, and I know the time will come when I'll be able to go live and I can share more with you, and you can ask as much question as possible and so on. I'll be able to answer you, because I knew for sure that when I reach a certain age I was coming to know what was my purpose, but at that time I didn't even know what was my purpose. But when I was 30 years of age, that's where I met the pillar of fire, and everything that I would have experienced outside of me in that dream, I came around in another cycle and experienced it within me. That's why I can tell you, everything you read in the Bible, it takes place in the mind of man. It's all about your own human imagination. Everything in the Bible is teaching about your own human imagination. The central theme of the Bible is the Christ. Christ is your own human imagination, which is the creator in man. Without him, there's anything made that was made. And that is why a true teacher must be one who's gone through the process. Unless a corn of wheat fall in the ground and die, it abides alone. But if it dies, it brings forth much fruit. You must be born again, and that is the same thing. So with that being said, my brother and my sisters, I know I got my message across to you. I want to thank you very much, and I want to give you the sign of the eye. Matthew 6:20 says, if your eye be single, your whole body will be full of light, because the sun of righteousness will arise in you with healing in his wing. That Malachi 4:2. So with that being said, I want to thank you very much. I want to say love you, peace, and make sure you follow the truth, nothing but the truth.